Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Hi, friend. So good to have you watching and listening to New Life Live. I'm your host, Brian Perez, and we'll be in the studio for 2 hours today. We would love to hear from you. If you're tired of toxic relationships, call us right now for help taking the first step towards safe and healthy relationships. 1-800-229-3000 is our number. And we've got a very special guest on the show today, someone who doesn't get to join us that often. It's licensed professional counselor and co-presenter at our Intimacy and Marriage and Restore Intensives, Laura Mangin-McDonald. Laura, good to have you on the show today. Hope your new year has been happy so far.
It has been great, and it is an honor to be here, Brian. I always love hanging out with y'all when I can. Thank you.
That's awesome. And joining us for these next 2 fantastic hours as well is the president of New Life Ministry. She's a licensed professional clinical counselor, Becky Brown. Becky, always nice to see you too.
It's great to be here. And you know what? The funniest thing, Laura and I go way back, and you're in for a great show today because we have always something to talk about. And, you know, I've always got something on my mind. And today, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. How many times do we ever hear somebody say that this is exactly what they do, is they have a story and they're sticking to it. We all have a story. When you meet somebody, you might say, you know, where do you live? What do you do for a living? All of those kind of things, hobbies. And sometimes our stories get us stuck, or it's part of who we become. You know, even in your recovery, you may be thinking, well, I'm always going to be stuck in this part of the story. You know, you have a story, but it may not be the story. You may be quick to be stuck in the story and retell it over and over again. And so then that phrase would be, that's my story and I'm stuck in it. There's power in the story that you tell yourself. And many times our story keeps us stuck because we haven't shared it. We keep it tucked away, and it's just what we think about what, you know, happened to us or what we're experiencing. You've heard us talk about how recovery is for everyone, not just for if you're dealing with an addiction or behavior, substance abuse, any of those things. It's for those stuck places in your life. And we all get stuck sometimes. John 5 tells the story of the man by the pool, and Jesus asks him, do you want to get well? Now, this man's story was he was stuck for 38 years. Couldn't get up, and he was real quick to tell Jesus, you know, people are getting in the way, and every time I try to get up, somebody gets in front of me. That was his stuck story. And Jesus, of course, tells him, get up, pick up, and walk. Get going. So what's your stuck story? Could it be a relationship where you keep thinking, if only the other person would, and you could fill in the blank, you know, stop cheating, be honest, hear me, see me, treat me kind. It could be, I will never be able to, and then you can fill in that blank, get over the loss, get free from addiction, recover from what happened to me. You know, here at New Life, we've been helping people get unstuck for almost 40 years.
Yep.
And what I want to encourage you is if you have a stuck story in your head, God's not done. He's got a purpose and a plan and healing for your life. You can reach out today. We're here on the phone for a couple of hours. Maybe that's the first place that you get unstuck, that you pick up the phone and give us a call. And Brian, how can they do that?
They can do that, Becky, by calling 1-800-229-3000. And yeah, we're going to be in the studio for a couple of hours. We would love to hear from you as you call in and share your story so that we can show you how to get unstuck from your situation. Becky Brown is with us. So is Laura Mangin-McDonald. She's written a couple of books that are bestsellers, you could say, in the newlife.com store. The Heart Handbook and How You Think Determines the Course of Your Life. They're both available in the newlife.com store. We'll talk to Becky and Laura in just a moment here on New Life Live.
my husband addicted to pornography for the majority of our marriage. I was very isolated and didn't really know which way to turn.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, the Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
I went to the Restore conference, which seemed to be the missing puzzle piece where I was able to find my voice.
When two people want to do their part, we can be restored. But if they don't, we are not stuck because someone else made a decision. God lets us weigh in on how we want to walk out our lives.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Dallas, Texas, March 6th to the 8th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Enter the code NLL for a discount.
I'm navigating my world now. It feels so wonderful.
I've had a great experience at Restore.
1-800-NEWLIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Want to say hello to my friend Mike, who this past weekend posted a praise report on Facebook celebrating 19 years clean and sober. Love you, brother. Congratulations. Now, if you want to make 2026 the year you look back on and say, that was the beginning of my healing, we can help you. At New Life, we walk with people through real pain toward real healing. We have so much coming up to help you. Recovery groups, webinars, weekend workshops, and of course, online courses. So much more too. Just visit newlife.com for more information. And one of those webinars that we've got coming up is actually tomorrow. If you've been feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, stuck in a low place, please know you are not alone. Help is available. New Life is offering a faith-based webinar led by Dr. Jackie Mack-Harris this Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time. Break Free from Depression, Tools to Reclaim Your Life, is 90 minutes of real hope, including 60 minutes of Dr. Jackie and 30 minutes of Q&A, so you can ask questions and get clarity. To learn more and receive a free tip sheet on depression, you can text the word webinar to 28950. And if you've already got plans for Thursday that you can't get out of, well, register anyway, because you'll get a playback link that's good for about a week to watch when it's convenient. And Becky Brown, you're going to be hosting tomorrow's webinar.
I am going to be hosting. And speaking of places where people get stuck, depression is one of those places where it can mire you in the muck for years. And some of you are not dealing with depression, and that's your stuck place. And this webinar can be a great opportunity for you to learn more about what is keeping you stuck. One thing I always like to share on our webinars, you're not going to see each other, so you're safe. A lot of times people are like, I don't want to be seen. And Jackie will share, and she's an incredible communicator that will get to some of the nuts and bolts of why we get depressed. And, a lot of people deal with low-level depression, and it affects every part of their life. Maybe you have a loved one that is depressed or has been dealing with depression and you don't know what to do. This webinar can also give you some insight into what is going on with them and how you can be supportive. So I hope to see you there.
Yep. Just text the word webinar to 28950 and we'll send you a registration page, or, you can fill out the form there and get registered, and you'll get that free tip sheet on depression. But if you want to talk to Becky and Laura Mangin-McDonald, call in 1-800-229-3000. We're going to begin our time on the phones in Philadelphia with Grace, who's listening on WBYN. Welcome, Grace, to New Life Live.
Thank you for taking my call.
Of course.
I've been married about 4 years. I had some very strong Christian mentors in my life at the time, and good support. And I was pretty clearly advised that this didn't seem like it was a great situation to get into, and potentially should walk away from the relationship. I chose not to listen, moved forward, got married, and sort of living the effects of the decision and lack of wisdom that I had. Now I'm just sort of, basically if something can go wrong, it does. He has a lot of unresolved issues. He has children, and it's been really, really difficult with that. finds it hard to maintain employment, and seems to have a lot of anger and just a lot of issues. So here I am, married, and just not sure how to do this day in and day out when it feels so wrong.
Yeah. Laura, what would you say to Grace?
Well, Grace, my first question would be, what have you done so far? Have you all made any attempts to bring in outside counsel? Clearly, this is a pattern that is devastating. It sounds like you can't connect or communicate. So what have you done so far?
We worked with our church pastor for quite a few months, meeting with him and a little team at the church. And it didn't really go, and it didn't help very much, but it was nice to have some support, I guess.
Okay. Well, what I would highly recommend is that you get with a licensed therapist, and especially someone who can work with you on attachment style. You know, I'm sure that the people in your church love you and mean well, but if I need brain surgery or heart surgery, I'm going to go to a heart surgeon or brain surgeon who specializes in the issue that I need help with. And often what happens in this type of setting is the behaviors are continually addressed. Forgive, be kind, have dates, and all well-meaning, but it is not going to heal the issue at the heart. This is an attachment issue.
Becky?
I also wonder, Grace, what was the prompting event where you called the pastor? Like I heard, you started with, people told me, don't do this, warning, Will Robinson. That's a throwback to Lost in Space.
Yes.
Sometimes we can get lost in our marriages though, right, Grace? And so at one point you said, we've got to get help. What happened that made that decision?
There was, a lot of stuff at that point. There was, an issue with his child, a lot of false accusations that his child was saying against our home, and he had lost the job at the same time. At the same time, his anger started becoming more apparent. Things that I had no idea kind of popped up, and then so we both went, but I think he was doing it to sort of point the blame at some of the issues being on me, and once sort of that became evident to the pastors that, hey, this is not really what we thought it was, they just sort of recommended outside counseling.
And did you do that, Grace?
A couple times, and it seems to not really ever go much further than a session or two.
What happens? Like, what happened? Like, you go and then the counselor says, okay, you're done, or the two of you decide?
No.
Like, okay.
Yeah, kind of, we decide, like, or usually him, but it just sort of fizzles out, I guess. It's just unhealthy. Yeah, we just both, I guess. All right.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Laura.
I'm just saying, here's the good news, Grace, is that the way each one of us, we are the common denominator in our life. So even though I can't prevent what may happen to me, what I can do is choose how I will respond to it. So what would be very empowering for you is to do individual counseling, to begin there, and find out what is in me that I minimized or wasn't looking out for myself. People were trying to help. What is it in me that drew me to this situation? And how can I have better self-care? So, because regardless of, I would love to see for y'all to come to Intimacy in Marriage, our 3-day intensive immersive program to help. But if you don't, healing begins with us individually. That is we don't pass go or collect our $200 until we begin there. So, and that's empowering and that's hopeful. You can be empowered in this and be assertive and find out what's going on, and that will reduce a lot of the chaos coming from him and the extended family.
The other part about that too, Grace, is that it's kind of like what I said in the opening. You are feeling stuck right now. You started with, everybody told me not to. I did it anyway, and now what am I supposed to do? You're not stuck. You're not stuck. And
Right.
the hard part is thinking that he's going to be somebody different and that will fix everything.
Yeah.
That's not going to be it either. So we all have work to do, and this is not to beat up on him, because obviously he's got issues. You said that. He's got unresolved issues. And, and I, of course, would want to know what happened to the first wife or the mother of the children. And all of those things are part of the story, but they're not the story. This is just another chapter, and we have to get moving forward. And Grace, we can get you connected with somebody, but I agree with you, Laura. If the two of you came out to intimacy and marriage, it could change everything for you.
People that are getting ready for divorce, that flips because of the information and experiences that they have there.
Yeah. I think I've come to the realization, like he's not going to change. This is, I think, what I just didn't see in the beginning, I'm seeing now, and I think this is actually him because, like you said, with the first wife, this is some of the things I had very little interaction with her, but the little I did, she sort of told me about. And then it did become real, but I didn't. But my whole thing is just like, what can I do? I don't necessarily feel we have biblical grounds for divorce, but I live in this absolute chaos and anger and just dysfunction every day.
And Grace, here's the other part about that. Here's the newsflash. Some of that is something that you have created room for. Now, that sounds pretty harsh, but it's part of your own growth. And here's the other thing. He can change. He's not stuck. He's stuck right now, but he can change. And we've said this 1,000 times over the years. If you're going through a struggle like this, you don't want to quit before you understand the whole picture, because it could be the very thing that creates that connection that you really want. But, if you haven't read, yeah, exactly. Right.
If you haven't read what, Becky? What were you going to say?
I was going to say, if you haven't read,
too.
Grace, if you haven't read How We Love, if you haven't read How We Love or Mark Cameron's book, Understanding Your Attachment Style, either one of those books will help you understand how this even happened. Like what you just said, Laura, sometimes we go into relationships or into jobs or into circumstances and we think, how in the world did I miss this? And that's where the learning comes from, Grace. And there's hope. And, I know that you're not done. He is stuck. You're stuck, but you don't have to stay that way.
Right.
Those two books are available in the newlife.com store, and the Intimacy and Marriage Intensive is happening next month, February 13th through the 15th in Orange County, California. The early bird discount ends January 30th. Laura is a co-presenter at the intensive, and
there's
she'll
a whole
be
bunch
there.
of us.
That's true. That's why I said a co-presenter. Yeah, Becky's there too. JJ West. It's great. So stay on the phone and we'll give you more information about all of those resources that we just mentioned. Let's take another call. Here is Paul in White Plains, Maryland. A friend told Paul about New Life Live. What's your friend's first name, Paul?
His name is Tyrone.
Tyrone, thank you so much for telling Paul about New Life Live. Paul, how can we help you?
So I've been married for almost 10 years now, and there has been some issues, quite a bit of issues in my relationship with my spouse. But I just got in an accident in October, a really bad car accident in which I almost lost my life. And before the accident, what led me to the accident was some problems that I was going through with my wife. And it allowed me to go out and have a drink that night, and I fell asleep behind the wheel and almost lost my life.
Oh my.
And so as I've been in and out of hospitals and rehab facilities for the last 3 months, I am now in a position where I'm back at home, and I have reason to believe that my wife is cheating on me. As I walked in the bedroom on her day before yesterday, and she was talking to another man.
On the phone, you mean?
Yeah, on the phone.
Okay.
And it's someone who I've long suspected her cheating with, and she's very disrespectful. There's been a lot of mental and physical abuse against me. I just want to know which way I should go. Is that grounds for divorce? I really don't want to give up on my marriage, but I've been put into a situation where I've been left hanging, and she doesn't care anymore. She's checked out, and I just don't want to be sitting in limbo.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, and we're glad that you called in today to New Life Live, because we're definitely going to put you on the right path to the next step that you need to take. The first step you took is to call us today, and that's great. And we'll continue the conversation with you when we come back here on New Life Live with Becky Brown and Laura Mangin-McDonald. We're in the studio for 2 hours today. Call in. There's still lines open, 1-800-229-3000.
Hello, it's Becky Brown, and I just want to share with you about our upcoming webinar, Break Free from Depression, Tools to Reclaim Your Life. If you've been overwhelmed, exhausted, feeling hopeless, or disconnected, this live event will give you the tools and encouragement that you need to move forward. We're going to hear from Dr. 𝙇𝙤𝙑 Harris, who is a trusted counselor that you hear on New Life Live all the time. We're going to help guide you through practical strategies and biblical truth to help you find real hope in your journey. Jackie will present for about an hour, and then we'll have a 30-minute question and answer following the presentation.
The Break Free from Depression webinar is Thursday evening, January 15th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com. Get tools to reclaim your life and break free from the patterns that keep you stuck. 1-800-639-5433. Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learn a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource, or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
All right, back to Paul in Maryland, whose friend suggested that he call in today to New Life Live at 1-800-229-3000. So everyone listening and watching right now, tell your friends to call in as well to 1-800-229-3000. Becky Brown and Laura Mangin-McDonald on the show today. Laura, what would you say to Paul?
Well, first of all, Paul, I just want to validate your devastation. The betrayal is just wrecks us. It just absolutely wrecks us. My next question is going to be, what before the accident, when you thought something was happening, how did you approach it? Did you ask her any questions? Did you just sit back and observe? What did you do?
Observed for a while. As me and my wife own a restaurant, and this person used to be a customer of ours who gotten really close to us, and I realized that they had gotten really close, and me and him weren't really friends like that. I just did a lot of observing, and I started putting things together. And when I approached her about it, she denied everything. And then one day I went to use her truck to start my truck up with. And when I turned the car on, text messages popped up between the two. And I couldn't really see what the text messages were saying because I could only see a certain amount of stuff on the dash. But when I typed, she had the name abbreviated, and when I typed the number into my phone, it popped up as that person's name. And I realized then I was able to go a little further into the dash, and I could see the call log, and I see that they were calling each other all crazy types of night. It was just at random times during the day. As me and my wife does not sleep in the same bed. We haven't slept in the same bed in the last 7 years. So, yes, so it's just a way for her to just do whatever she wants to do, and she's totally denied everything. I even approached him about it, and he said they're just friends, and I'm like, well, he said he was my friend as well, but I haven't talked to you in a whole year, but you talk to my wife every day.
Yeah, something's, definitely something is not right there. So what are you doing to set up, where are you getting help from? I mean, I'm glad you called here today, but have you considered going to a professional to help you process this, to know how to be assertive in setting up some limits with her, some expectations, and how to move forward? Because clearly this is disorienting and devastating.
It is. It has really left me, I'm just crushed right now. This is where I've been at for the last 3 years. Really, and it's drawn me to do things that I would not normally do. It's led to a little bit of drug abuse with marijuana. I won't even say a little bit. It's led to a lot of marijuana use. And I don't drink or use drugs anymore. But that's what it has led to. And I realized at this moment I don't need anyone but Jesus. And I just want to
Paul, listen, you're using the things to heal the wound that has occurred. Your marriage is in trouble, and this goes way back, but it's so overwhelming to recognize that you thought that your wife would not lie to you, would be faithful. This, people get married and you take a vow, and then to have both of them. And, I want to go back to the fact that you both had an acquaintance with him. And so in the early days, you could make it make sense, right, Paul? He's a customer, we have this connection, but then it doesn't feel right. And it isn't right.
It was a lot of lying. It was a lot of lying involved. A lot of lying.
Yeah. Right. And then it's disorienting for you. Like, you can't make sense of the craziness. And then with your health challenges. And what I understand you to say is that it's because of trying to deal with the marriage issues. That's why you ended up in the wreck?
Yes.
Okay. My recommendation is, like Laura's, is that you seek some professional help. But here's the challenge. Is you may have to do your healing first, because between your physical health and this emotional destruction, it's a lot to then bring the other person. But you could always ask her, hey, do you want to be married or not? I mean, I know that sounds pretty bold, but I mean, Laura, this is what we deal with. And it doesn't matter if it's male or female. Betrayal is devastating. It's devastating.
It literally breaks down the molecular structure in our cells, right? But Paul, if you came to see me, you walked in my office, I would first validate you just like Becky and I have, and pretty much say everything that Becky and I have already said. But then the next thing I would go into is okay, Paul, I want to tell you something in love, brother. And that is that when you said that when this happened before, you went to drugs and alcohol, that tells me huge volumes of information. It tells me that where were your people? Where were your safe people to go, oh my gosh, my life was just blown up. This is what happened. Right. And I, even though I understand we addictions work because they medicate our pain, but they don't sustain us. So I would wonder what's happened in your early, in your past, in your early childhood. Did you not have safe people? Did you have to medicate through drugs, alcohol, whatever? But so to reiterate again what Becky said, we've got to get you to put your oxygen mask on first.
All right, we've got to take a break. We'll be right back with Becky Brown and Laura Mangin-McDonald here on New Life Live.
We've been married 33 years. We attended the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop. Even though we've read books or attended a few other marriage weekends, this was certainly different and a lot more intensive than initially that we thought.
When you come to Intimacy and Marriage, you're going to be immersed into a 3-day process.
Was not really sure exactly what to expect, but the idea of learning to really understand intimacy was intriguing. We had been in the same patterns of struggle over and over again.
If you've thought, I don't think we can ever change, we're just in this rut and we can't get out, the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop can help you get out of the rut.
The Intimacy and Marriage Weekend is February 13th to the 15th in Orange County, California. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the code NLL for a discount. 1-800-639-5433.
I would highly recommend it.
There's a place where real healing begins, where truth meets grace, and where transformation starts. New Life Recovery Groups offers a Christ-centered, supportive community for growth, healing, and restoration. Built on a proven 12-step foundation and grounded in biblical truth, these groups help bring clarity, accountability, and lasting hope for those who are ready for change. And when deeper personal guidance is needed, one-on-one coaching and counseling are available, walking with you every step of the way. Here, lives are renewed, stories are rewritten, and hope is restored. You're not alone. You're not judged. You're welcomed into a community that believes God is still at work in your story. Take the next step toward healing. Join a New Life Recovery Group today, online or in person. Visit newlife.com/groups or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Find healing, find community, find new life. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Let's go back to Paul in Maryland. You still with us, Paul? Oh, no, hold on. Now are you with us, Paul?
Yes, I'm here.
All these buttons in front of me. I forget to push them sometimes.
No, but it's fine. It's fine.
So, Laura, what were you saying to Paul just before the break?
That to reiterate what Becky was saying, that no matter what we've been through, the first step is first we've got to heal ourselves. So he must put his oxygen mask on first because of his tendency to medicate his pain, which is legit, but for him to begin to understand how he goes to people. And I would suspect that there's a history of him being maybe alone, trying to figure out, these horrible things of betrayal, and then going to drugs to medicate.
You know what I was going to say, Paul?
I'm sorry, say that. What's the last thing you said?
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. But I've taken care of that. I'm no longer use marijuana. I no longer drink alcohol anymore. I don't have a desire for it. Mm-hmm. And I made up in my mind that I'm not going there anymore because I realized, doing some self-assessment, that I was coping. I was using those things to cope, and I found the Lord.
Right. That's right.
So I have no need for that anymore.
Right. But here's what I want to tell you, Paul. It's okay to have Jesus and a therapist too. So it's, it's what we do here.
Oh, that's something I would like.
Yeah. I mean, it's great, especially because it is a new journey for you. We don't know how this is going to end. So I think one of your questions was, what do I do here? It's the first thing is your self-care, but also the breakdown in the communication with you and your wife started a long time ago. Can you remember? I mean, how long have you guys been married?
We've been married for almost 10 years.
Mm-hmm. And you share work together, right?
Yes.
So you're with each other. Oh, sorry, Brian. You're with each other, but you may not have a connection. And then you mentioned that you're not sleeping together. So there's this unspoken distance between the two of you. And we need to understand where that started, not, you don't have to tell me, obviously. This is what you would do in therapies. You'd figure out, what happened to me? How are we this disconnected? And, and I know we sound like a broken record, but, this is something that we talk about at our intimacy and marriage intensive all the time, because people get stuck and they get, and this is wounding to you, Paul. This is,
I would say this. It's not that we haven't had sex in 7 or 8 years. I haven't slept in the same room with her in about that long because I have sleep apnea. I snore really loud. So it's hard for her to get, so I know that that does play a part. But that separation also has allowed her to do other things as well.
Right. And here's the thing. If you're close, those other things don't occur because she knows how you would feel if she broke your heart, which is what she's done. And so what happens in couples is there becomes this space where we are not aware of the other's existence, really. We get, focused on our own thoughts, feelings, not paying attention to who we are married to.
Yeah.
And especially, right, Becky, if we haven't been taught the emotional intimacy, how to connect with ourselves and connect with others, which is what we get into that in depth, our core patterns of relating and intimacy in marriage. It's if we how can we know what we don't know? And this is where people try really hard, but trying harder doesn't resolve our unresolved issues inside of our heart. We need mentors, we need guides, we need to be taught how to deal with this. And that's why, Proverbs says, seek wise counsel.
Yeah. Is that helpful, Paul?
It is. And this is why I'm reaching out, because you're hitting everything right on the head. I really do feel like my wife does not know how to love. As every time that I pour my heart out to her and express myself to her, she does not care at all. And she has no interest. She's already said, even after I caught her on the phone with the gentleman, she sent me a text. I think she was trying to send it to someone else, but she was like, "Ooh, he's really hot," and then she kind of covered it up. But then she was just acting like she just didn't care. She said, "This marriage is over," and I told her I could be friends with whoever I want to be friends with. And it's just, she knows that I don't want her conversating with this gentleman in particular. She knows this.
Right.
I've expressed it so many times. Even when we first... Yeah.
But Paul, one time is enough. Like this, and a lot of times what happens in couples where there's betrayal, and you mentioned this earlier, you're seeing these conversations and you can make it make sense on one level. He's a customer, we have a mutual, but then something doesn't sit right. And if it doesn't sit right with one of the spouses, it's not going to be part of the marriage. I mean, this is something that as a couple, we don't want anything to come in between us. Now, her response is telling me more about her frame of mind. If she's saying that she doesn't care, it may be that she's so shut down, Paul, that she doesn't want to care. And that sounds, I don't know her, obviously, so I'm not going to say that, but I just, I think a lot of times when you're in the middle of that, people will shut down because they can't risk feeling your hurt, your pain. Right. And so they're going to say, I don't care, do whatever you want, I don't want to be married. Like they kick it out that way. But
she could be more avoidant, Becky, right? I mean, have that avoidant attachment and really not know how to connect. That's not excusing her behavior in any way, Paul. I mean, we totally get your heart and what you're saying here. It's all legit. But, but that's for her to work on. But for sure, you can work on, hey, to have someone to help you establish these healthy boundaries and go zero tolerance for any type of betrayal in the marriage. It is simply not okay.
Right. We want to be the safest person for our spouse. And in this situation for you, Paul, the healing has to be, we have to reestablish, if this marriage is going to be saved, we're going to reestablish safety and connection. And it may not have been there. Most couples, when we get married, we just we're attracted to each other, and that's where it starts. It's in the ongoing relationship where we really learn those intimate connections that we can have physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. And I want to suggest you get a copy of How We Love from our New Life store, or even Sherry's book, Intimate Deception, because I also think even though she's written that from a woman's standpoint, but betrayal is betrayal, and it hurts, and it does impact you.
And we do have a webinar next month on betrayal that Laura Mangin-McDonald is going to be presenting. So we recommend that you sign up for that as well. That's not till next month. You'll hear us talk about that. But also Intimacy in Marriage. That's happening next month too, February 13th through the 15th in Orange County, California. And in fact, that's a month from today. So Laura, you're one of the co-presenters there. How does this intensive help couples, whether they're newlyweds, oldie-weds, or somewhere in between?
It's an incredible 3-day immersive process where we just don't know what we don't know. When JJ and I, who's the co-presenter, we go into I personally go into how our histories collide. Every nanosecond of life comes with us when we marry. The ones we remember and don't remember, but they're inside of us, and that's our operating system. JJ goes into the attachment styles. And then together, we go into how do we relate to each other in a healthy way? Because again, we come in trying our best, but we just don't know. If we have not been taught this, and the latest stats I think that Harvard did, is only 20% of the population has emotional intelligence, which is kind of scary. But meaning we're taught emotional intimacy, being aware, self-aware, being able to articulate our feelings and all of that. So we go into all of that extensively. And then the biggest robust part of it is JJ and I have a combo with the audience about sex. And what does God say? What are the real issues that come up? But then I would say the highlight of this weekend is we present from the platform, but where the real wheels are put on, they go into group therapy and practice these things.
You can get all the details about the Intimacy and Marriage Intensive on our website, newlife.com, or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. It begins 1 month from today. It's that whole weekend, Valentine's Day weekend in Orange County, California. So come on out. This is for couples, for engaged couples as well. No matter how long you've been married, even if you think your marriage is doing pretty good, you're not having arguments, you're not sleeping in separate bedrooms, but it's good to come to this intensive to, get a tune-up. In the same way that you bring your car to the shop every few months for a tune-up.
That's right.
This is what this is for. We'll be back on New Life Live.
Here at New Life, we want you to have transformation. And so we have created the New Life courses, and you meet weekly on Zoom with a coach or counselor. You're going to have teaching as well as that group connection, because we know how powerful that is. We hear that all the time about our intensives, that they love the information, but the group process is so powerful. And many of you have been hesitant to participate because you're not sure, the timing, the price. The New Life courses are going to meet you right at that area of need. Every week you're meeting on Zoom with that therapist. You're going over the concepts as well as connecting as a group. It is so powerful, and it's accessible. Wherever you are, you're going to be able to join us.
Begin your transformation January 29th with a New Life course. Lose it for life, take your life back, or healing is a choice. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
You're joining in what God is doing through New Life Live and New Life Ministries when you make a gift of any size. Becky Brown, president of New Life Ministries, 2025 was another fruitful year of ministry here, and 2026 can be as well, right?
Yes. I know that God is doing a great work through New Life, and I want to invite all of you who are listening or who have been helped by New Life and you haven't yet given to support the ministry. Today's the day. We did finish the year strong, but there is so much more work to do. What does the Bible say? The harvest is plenty, the workers are few. Well, I would say the harvest is plenty and the finances are few. And it's not because we're not making every dollar go as far as it can go. But if you've listened to the news, if you've talked to your neighbor or even somebody at church, people are struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And at New Life, we want to continue to offer godly, Christian, professional counseling. I mean, those are the things that we do. This isn't just our opinion. This is the training that we have, the call on our life to help people in life's hardest places. And I want you to be part of what God is doing. And so you can give today. And we look forward to you being part of what God's doing through New Life.
Yep, your generosity changes lives here at New Life. You can give online at newlife.com, or you can call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or text NLM, as in New Life Ministries, NLM, to 28950, and we are so grateful that you come alongside us. Really quick follow-up question here before we get to our next call. When we were talking to Paul, and he was talking about the sleep apnea that has caused him and his wife to sleep in separate bedrooms. Is that a warning sign? Not the sleep apnea part, but when you hear that couples have separate bedrooms, is that, what would you guys say about that?
Well, my first thing is if there's a story that goes along with it. Because a lot of people, their sleeping habits are impaired. Matter of fact, I've seen in some new homes, they actually create a snoring room. So just the fact that you're sleeping together or not sleeping together as a couple is not the temperature gauge in and of itself. It is the story that goes with that. So let's say you're like in Paul's story, they're sleeping in separate rooms. He's got sleep apnea and they're not connecting.
Yeah.
So, see, there's a bigger story there.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the phones here.
We go into
Well, I just wanted to.
So we go into that at intimacy and marriage, but I'll come back to it.
Oh, all right, perfect. We'll talk about that. But right now, here is Carol in San Francisco, listening on Sirius XM channel 131. Hey, Carol, thanks for calling in today.
Hi, thank you for all you do. First-time caller here. My question is, how do I learn how to trust my current husband? My first husband, I was married for 13 years. He was highly addicted to porn, and it just absolutely destroyed who I was. And that is the reason we ended up getting divorced. I really, really thought that my second husband was not like that. He didn't look at other women. Well, 11 years into our marriage, I caught him. And that was a couple of years ago now. I struggle with wanting to look at his computer, wanting to look at his phone, and I know that would send me into orbit. I don't know how to. I don't think he is, but I don't know how to completely trust again.
Yeah, Laura, what would you say?
Wow, Carol, I'm just so sorry, and I want to tell you that your response is biological. God created our nervous system to detect and pick up danger. And in fact, our body knows what our mind can't comprehend. So given the reality of a history of your former husband, which that's traumatic, and that trauma, I would pretty much bet everything is still stuck inside your nervous system. And then to have a repeat of that trauma is just sent you hanging on the edge of the cliff, right? And here's something I would ask you. One, you have a right to look. That's protecting yourself. I wouldn't do that alone. I would have, you need a team around you, friends you can trust, friends that can walk with you, because that information, the reality of seeing that information is devastating and will blow you up. But at the same time, I would also ask you, what a horrible place to be. Is he not? Right? And that's just, I always say, if the enemy can't take us to hell, he wants to throw us up against hell's door, and that's hell's door. That's just wrecking your nervous system every day. So I would ask you to believe yourself, and then let's come up with a plan of action. Again, I know Becky and I continue to say, get with a trauma-informed therapist, but a trauma-informed therapist is the specialist who's been trained to walk you through betrayal, to tell you what to do, logistically, what's going on in your body, and how to formulate a plan to protect you, and ultimately, if the husband participates, to restore the marriage. How do you feel about that?
I know that he deeply loves me. I just know this evil of pornography, and I know how it takes a hold of men, and I know Satan. He does not want me to be in a happy Christian marriage, and because of those things, I don't trust Satan to not bring him there again.
But Carol, here's the challenge that you have is this, at the beginning of the hour, I was talking about the stories that we tell ourselves and the stuck places that it gets us. And you're stuck right now. You're stuck between, I know something's wrong. I know he loves me. I don't want to look. And the PTSD literally from the previous marriage. And like Laura just said, I would get in with a counselor not to villainize your current husband because of your past husband, but to get to the truth. If your current husband loves you, you will have the safety to be able to say to him, honey, because of what happened, because I caught you and because of my history, we've got to get some help because otherwise you're not safe to me. I'm not safe to me. This is not the way that I want us to go the next 20 years. I mean, it's those conversations where you're just sharing with each other about where you are. And I imagine, Carol, that has been shut down for you because now you're on high alert. And like Laura said, your body is speaking for you. I would get a copy, again, of Dr. Sherry Dunham-Keffer's book, Intimate Deception. And I would get connected with a therapist. I may even recommend that your husband go to Every Man's Battle, not because we think he's awful, but listen, we've helped so many men understand why they use pornography or why they go outside of their marriage, to understand that they are called to be the man that God wants them to be. But Carol, that's the way forward. We don't want you to be stuck.
Okay.
And
okay,
Becky,
thank you very much.
Everything you said, Becky, but that remember, stopping a behavior doesn't stop the problem.
That's right.
So even if he were to stop there, and pornography is not a sexual issue, it's an intimacy issue.
That's right.
Much like when we were talking to Paula, we go to soothe us, to take place of what the relationship, we don't know how to get in the relationship or execute. So even if he were to stop, Carol, stopping the problem doesn't stop. Stopping the behavior doesn't stop the problem. And I would still recommend that he go to Every Man's Battle.
And you know what? We've got one coming up. When is it, Brian? This weekend?
It is the weekend of January 23rd in Orange County, California. So, yeah, he should definitely go to that. And then you, Carol, should attend the Restore Healing After Betrayal Intensive. That is in March in Dallas. We can get you all the details when you stay on hold. And we're going to be in the studio for another hour. Call in to New Life Live.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.